For decades, nutrition science focused on individual nutrients, reduce saturated fat, increase vitamin C, avoid cholesterol. While this reductionist approach helped identify key deficiencies and toxicities, it eventually led to unintended consequences, like low-fat processed foods full of sugar or the demonization of nutrient-dense foods like eggs and nuts. Today, a growing body of evidence urges a shift in perspective. It's not just what nutrients we consume, but how they come packaged in real-world diets that determines health outcomes. Dietary patterns, not isolated nutrients, better reflect how people eat and, more importantly, how food influences long-term health. Human beings don't eat nutrients in isolation. We eat meals made of complex combinations of foods, which interact with each other and with the body in ways that defy simple nutrient math. A gram of saturated fat in a fast food burger does not behave the same way as one in full-fat yogurt or nuts. Similarly, 50 grams of carbohydrates from lentils doesn't have the same metabolic impact as 50 grams from soda. The broader dietary context shapes how our bodies respond to these inputs, making it clear that focusing on nutrients without the food source leads to misleading conclusions. The Mediterranean and DASH dietary approaches to stop hypertension diets are prime examples of effective, food-based patterns that support overall health. Rather than restricting or boosting specific nutrients, these diets emphasize a balance of whole, minimally processed foods, vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, fish, and olive oil, while limiting red meat, refined carbohydrates, and excess sodium. Clinical trials show these dietary patterns reduce the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, and even certain cancers. Unlike single nutrient interventions, these effects are consistent, reproducible, and observable in large populations. This whole diet perspective also captures the importance of food synergy, the idea that the health impact of a food is more than the sum of its parts. Fiber from whole foods, for instance, often comes with polyphenol and resistant starch that nourish gut bacteria. The potassium in bananas or sweet potatoes is absorbed alongside other beneficial compounds, making them more than just potassium delivery systems. Real foods contain intricate nutrient matrices that supplements and isolated compounds can't replicate. It's not just what is consumed, but how it's absorbed, metabolized, and utilized in a real-life context. Moreover, dietary patterns reflect lifestyle, habits, and culture, which are all critical to sustainability. A person is more likely to stick with a style of eating that allows variety, enjoyment, and social connection than one that micromanages macronutrient ratios or counts milligrams. A food-based approach allows people to make practical, flexible choices, choosing whole grains instead of refined, olive oil instead of butter, fruit instead of dessert, without needing a calculator at every meal. That said, the nutrient-based model is not without merit. It was essential for establishing dietary reference intakes and preventing nutrient deficiencies in earlier public health efforts. But in the modern context, where most diseases stem from excess, not scarcity, it can obscure the bigger picture. A cereal fortified with vitamins may meet technical nutrient targets while still contributing to blood sugar spikes and inflammation if it's highly refined and sugar-laden. This is why many modern guidelines, including those from the WHO and American Heart Association, increasingly emphasize dietary patterns over numeric targets for fat or carbs. Ultimately, what matters most is not whether someone eats a little more or less fat, protein, or fiber, but whether they follow a pattern of eating that supports overall metabolic health, reduces inflammation, and nourishes the gut. Dietary patterns that prioritize whole, plant-forward foods while limiting ultra-processed items consistently show the most benefit, far more than any specific nutrient tweak. It's a shift from precision to context, from fragmentation to integration. And it may be the most powerful step forward in translating nutrition science into practical, lasting health.